Outside, he heard the sound of an air raid siren and a military helicopter crashing into the building next door. Before he could figure out what was going on, a piercing scream suddenly came from downstairs. He looked down in confusion and saw people in the residential area running around frantically. This moment scared the man silly. He had absolutely no idea what on earth had happened. So he crawled back into his flat, but just then, a man suddenly barged into his home. It turned out to be his neighbor from next door. Before the man could react, the neighbor covered his own neck and hurriedly ran into the bathroom. The man noticed a bite-like wound on the neighbor's neck and sensed that something was off. He grabbed a knife to defend himself. At that moment, the television was broadcasting an emergency news report, saying that a zombie virus had broken out in the city, and those infected had become violent and bloodthirsty. People who were bitten turned into emotionless monsters. The neighbor who had just come out also saw the news. He hurriedly explained that he was fine, but the next second, his eyes started bleeding, and his body began to show symptoms of mutation. Fortunately, he had not completely lost his mind at this point. Faced with the man's knife threat, he still left in a panic. The man was so scared that he quickly closed the door, but the next second, he heard a piercing scream from outside. He discovered that the outside had already been taken over by zombies. The first thing the boy thought of was his parents. Luckily, his dad sent him a message in time, saying they were temporarily safe and advising him not to go out and stay at home. Only at this point did the boy realize that the only way to survive now was to rely on himself. So to prevent zombies from breaking in, he hurriedly pushed the refrigerator to block the door, then covered the windows with paper to avoid being discovered by the zombies outside. On the 23rd day after the zombie virus outbreak, he had run out of food by now. Even worse, the tap water had stopped running. It was nighttime. Suddenly, he heard a strange noise coming from the bathroom, which gave him an ominous feeling. He picked up a baseball bat and slowly approached. What he never expected was that a zombie had actually crawled in through the bathroom vent. The man was so frightened that he quickly hid behind the sofa, watching the zombie slowly walking towards him. He walked up behind it and knocked it down. 10 minutes later, he calmed his nerves, then picked up the zombie and quickly threw it off the balcony to prevent it from breaking in again. He hurriedly placed a surfboard over the bathroom vent. As time passed, it was the 41st day. Jack, who was at home, was on the verge of a breakdown. He lived in fear and hunger every day with no one to communicate with. As he was still talking to himself in front of the computer, his phone, which had been silent for a long time, suddenly received a text message. Jack thought there was still hope waiting for him, but little did he know that this was the last straw that broke him. It was a voice message filled with zombie roars and the screams